Leadoff man, Angelo Alicia. And Angie takes a pitch. Again, it should be up and running now. You guys missed my pregame spiel again. And there's a little ground ball up the middle, handled by the short center. And Angelo Alicia, Hall of Famer, grounds out to lead off the ball game here. Again, this is the championship game, men's 50 and over division up here in the Rosemont Dome. And if you're watching on Facebook, please drop a chat notice. I want to make sure that everything is copacetic. And here's Pete Raines. And there's a hard ground ball the other way, handled by the shortstop, Sammy Bertucci, and that'll be out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down here for the takers. Again, this is Chicago's 16-inch style softball. You're seeing it correct, no gloves. And 60-foot bases, leadoff can't steal, 38 from the rubber to the point of home plate, 6-12 on the arc. Pitcher gets 2 fakes or hesitation, third arm action, must deliver the ball home, and Nicky Marchese calls him safe. Take a quick replay look. So umpire felt that Dave Bradle beat that out. Anthony Tyler, long throw. Looks like that was probably the correct call. So I'm not sure what's going on here. They must have asked for help. So Frank Lentine Sr. said he had a good look at it, and Richie said it was his call, and that's the end of it. So we do swing heavy bats, can weigh up to 38 ounces, and here's Tommy Mejia. And Tommy swings, he drives it to center, and Nick Marchese puts it away. So they threaten, do not score, and we'll head to the bottom of the first. 55's coming to bat. So we do use heavy bats. They can weigh up to 38 ounces, 34 inches long, 2 1/4 on the barrel. This is an all-turf dome, 210 down the line, 235 to center. And a little quirky because we got a very short fence height-wise, as it's only about 3.5, 4 feet high out there. So we do see a lot of ground rule doubles. Can only hit 4 home runs. Everything after that's an out. And if the ball hits the roof in fair territory, it can be caught for an out. If it hits the carpet, it's all you can get. If it hits it in foul territory, you can also catch it for an out. So 45s here, Johnny Eckert, also known as Ecky, Nicky Marchese, and Anthony Tyler. And a couple of players here that I had the pleasure of managing, and particularly Nicky Marchese, Anthony Tyler, for a weekend, Sammy Bertucci, Shane Lawler. So always interesting when come to these 50 and over games. It's not just the guys you played against, but in my case, played against and also got a chance to manage some of these guys. And in the case of guys like Nicky and Tyler, some of the best players of all time. And there's a ground ball. Nice job by the third baseman, Scotty Toothpick, as he snagged it, moving over to his left, and makes the throw. 1 up, 1 down. That'll bring up Marchese. Nicky, of course, back in the day, longtime flashback guy, and played a little bit, I believe, with either Licorice or Lettuce. And Nicky was a fabulous defensive outfielder. There was an article in one of the old softball magazines back in the day. We used to have those publications. And the famous quote about Nicky is 2/3 of the world. Tyler, towering fly ball, but it'll stay in the park. And the left fielder comes in and makes the catch. So 3 up, 3 down. Matty Dozen making the catch. So the famous quote was 2/3 of the world's covered by water and the other third's covered by Nicky Marchese. Of course, Nicky was a jackrabbit, could really fly, had one of the strongest arms of any outfielder. And the big slam on Nicky was that he supposedly couldn't hit. But when I managed him on flashback, he swung it pretty good. So again, if you're watching on flashback, please drop a comment in there. I want to make sure the chat function is working. So leading off here in the top of the second, we'll change the inning for you all. Is Dave Winslow. So this is, again, the championship game. Okay, and there's a little flip the other way, but right on the spot. Looks like Chris Plywich out there making the catch. There's Dave Bradle, former Mudville guy. Keep telling him he's got to wear the gear, and he won't do it. Yeah, that's because he's uses it to paint the house, I think. So there's a line drive foul by Marty Dozen. Got a lot of former guys I coached or were on my Mudville team playing tonight. Dave Bradle, Marty Dozen, Matty Dozen. We're all Mudville guys, and of course Tyler and Nicky Marchese and Shane Lawler. And there's a swing and a fly ball, base hit, as Marty flips it down the line, and now he kind of hesitated like he wasn't going to go. Then he turned it on, and he ended up hustling into second for a stand-up double. So one out now, runner on second. Brings up Johnny Pellegrino. And Johnny swings and just gets it over. Raff at second. Runners on the corner. Beautifully done. Of course, Johnny, tremendous cutter and pusher. Just kind of flipped it just out of the reach there. And we got runners on the corner. First scoring threat brings up Scotty Toothpick.
Taking a flight, long flight ball. Great.
So runners on the corner, one out. And of course, you never want to give up scoring opportunities, especially here with less than 2 outs. You really want to score that runner from third. Top of the second here. Championship ball game. And he tried to flatten out, and Scotty gives it a ride. Chris goes back. Both runners will tag and will score the first run. Good job there by Chris and left, as Scotty, not really known as a power guy, came very close to getting over the top of Chris, but he made the catch. First run of the ball game goes to the Takers. Here comes Ellerby. And he drives it out into the outfield, but right on the spot, Nicky Marchese. But they do push a run across. They take the first lead of the ball game. We head to the bottom of the second. Takers won. 55-0. So we'd like to take a little time, thank all of our sponsors, in particular Sweet Buzz. See their logo in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Sweet Buzz, an infused product company. If you're of age, you might want to check them out. Nick Drabo plays on Moneyline, is one of the co-owners of that and a sponsor of the Slow Pitch Softball Association. So if you see him at a tournament, feel free to ask him about it. Yes, Amalia, this is for all the marbles. And Sammy Bertucci, high and deep and gone. And he ties the game up with a solo shot. So Sammy Bertucci, Mike Sinise flattened out there a little bit. Sammy just lifted the fly ball up into the net, and we're all tied at 1. And that brings up Israel Sanchez. Again, we talk all the time. When you only got 4 home runs, you want to be judicious with them and use them in high leverage situations. And as a manager, you don't necessarily want to see guys hitting solo shots. And Israel just turns and flips it in front of Dave Bradle in right field. So back-to-back hits here to start the second inning. Nicky Marchese comes out to courtesy run. And here comes Raff. And Raff and call him out there, bang, bang. Marchese made it close. I think he would have beat it had it been hit on the ground, but it was a soft line drive. And you saw there in the replay, Nicky had a stop, and then he tried to get moving again. They nipped him. Brings up Shane Lawler. So 1 out now, runner on first. Of course, Shane also a sponsor, Lawler's Bar. He's got one on Archer off of Harlem, and there he flips it into right center, and we got runners on the corner. And of course, he has another one off of 111th and Pulaski. And Shane's been doing that for a lot of years. And that is, he'll go opposite the short center, and he likes to go up and over the infield. Once in a while, he can surprise you and try to go a little harder. And there's a bullet as he turns and fires it, and that's going to be a ground rule double. So that'll save 1 run. But a run does score, and got there a little late there as I was changing the scoreboard. Chris Plywich just drove that right over the bag. And it brings up Gary. I believe there's only 1 out, so it should be a 2-1 ball game right now. And there's a little chopper. Marty Dozen right to Mike Sinise, and he makes the play for out number 2. So it'll bring up chicken Joe Nixon. 3-1 ball game. And there he just cuts it over the top. That'll score the 4th run, so the 55s come out swinging here. Joe Nixon, longtime cutter. And you can see he just kind of pooched it right over the infield. And here comes Larry Downs. And Larry pulls, he turns and burns. Bradle, though, goes back and makes the catch. So 4 runs in the inning. So we head now to the top of the 3rd, new leader, as the 55s have taken their first lead of the ball game. And we'll see how the takers respond. Taker's got a little bit of an edge in the sense that they got a couple of guys that are still kind of playing a lot of softball. Takers do too. Of course, here's Mike Sinise, of course, with the 50 and over. And Sinise drives it toward the alley, and that's going to sit. And Nicky there grabbed it before it hit the screen. Now they're going to throw behind, and he's out. Good awareness there, good communication. I was going to say Nicky may have made a little bit of a mistake in the sense that I think that ball would have been in the net, but he fired a strike to Marchese, and you can see he was out easily at second base, so it should have been a leadoff double. Turns into an out, and here's Matty Dozen. As they say, his mind cut a check that his body couldn't cash. And Matty goes hard toward the alley, and he takes the turn, but thinks better of it and comes on back. So a little bit of a base running mistake here, as that single by Dozen may have scored. Might have scored Sinise, and it could have been a 4-2 ball game. So we'll keep that in the back of our mind to see how this game plays out. Top of the lineup with Angelo Alicia. And Angelo tries to go hard toward the gap, but Larry Downs got there, can't make the catch. Matt Dozen's going to cruise into third, and now that defensive play on Sinise looming a little larger. Still only one out. It brings up Pete Raines. As they were playing him kind of shallow, Angelo tried to pump that ball into the gap. Larry Downs got there but dropped it after a decent run. And Pete Raines, a little flare, long run. That's going to drop. A run's going to score. The ball kind of got away there from Nicky, but not enough for anybody to take an additional base. Dozen was going to score anyway, being on third. So a little bloop there by Raines brings up Dave Bradle now, 4-2 ball game. Takers trying to work their way back. Bradle, Sanchez over to Gary, and they twist the double play to get out of it without any more damage. So we'll cue up the replay here. Of course, Israel Hall of Fame first baseman handled it clean through to strike, and that's about as slick as you're going to see. Nice turn there by Gary. They had Joe Nixon listed on the card, but that was Gary turning the double play. And we are in the third inning. Sorry I didn't change the inning. Bottom half, top of the lineup. Here comes Eki. So a little bit of defense there. And Eki, ground ball, and Mike Sinise, who is using the glove, was able to just wave the big mitt. And was able to make the play. So here's Marchese, and he slashes it foul down the left field line for strike two. Anthony Tyler on deck. So 4-2 ball game here. And it's always interesting. These guys have played together and against each other for a long, long time. And I got to tell you, some of this 50 and over is more cutthroat when it comes to getting players than the regular men's 16-inch. And Nicky takes a strike there, so apparently they must be playing open count. And pitch clearly illegal, well above the 12-foot limit. And again, SSA rules, they will let the hitter know it's illegal when the ball is in the air. And Marchese barrels it up, but right to center, and Angelo Alicia right there. 2 up, 2 down. It brings up Anthony Tyler. The old NSA, they used to not tell you. The umpire would just put his arm out to the side to let you know it was illegal, which I could never understand because as a hitter, you can't see that. And there's a high fly ball. It's off the roof, and it's going to drop in. And Tyler is going to go ahead and sneak into second. Now he fakes like he's going to go. Having a good laugh there with Marty Dozen. So little 2-out bloop off the roof. Sammy Bertucci went yard his last time. And this is one of those situations. Do you pitch to Sammy? Or do you just walk him, set up a fielder's choice everywhere, and make Israel get the hit? I don't know if Sinise wants anything to do with him, and he walked him. So I think that was the unintentional intentional. And I think that's what Israel might have said to him right before he got into the box. Probably told him, hey, don't swing at any garbage. He probably doesn't want to pitch to you. Looks like he just threw another ball, though. Israel yanked a single into right field his last time up. And there he slaps it up the middle. Nice play by Winslow. Hang a star on it. Dave Winslow going far up the middle. Takes a hit away from Israel Sanchez and keeps the score at 4-2. Here's the replay. You see Winslow. Nicely done. Great throw right on the money. And we are going to head to the top of the fourth. Still 4-2. So the unintentional intentional walk pays out. We did an interesting thing we put on the Facebook page. Had an interesting clip of Greg Maddox talking about Barry Bonds. Here's Tommy Matea, and he was talking about the fact that it was easy to pitch to Barry Bonds because if it mattered, you just walked him. And he was talking about the fact that you got to get 27 outs, and you weren't getting many when he was up, so try the other 8 guys. So we posed the question, and Tommy leads off with a rocket to center. We posed the question if managers walk enough guys in today's game. My thing is you want to pick your poison. Brings up Dave Winslow, he of the great play last inning. My point always was you pick your poison, and there are certain guys you just cannot allow to beat you. And Winslow goes the opposite way, and that's going to drop. Mateo get into third. Winslow, long single into the alley. And the Takers got a little something going on with Marty Dozen coming up here in the top of the fourth. Runners on the corner, nobody out. They trail by a deuce. So Dave Winslow doing it defensively and now offensively. And Marty, hard ground ball, and that's going to get through. Run scores. Winslow will stop at second. Very interesting. Gary, the short center, broke towards second. And it looked like Sammy might have leaned toward third on that. Marty kind of opened up a little bit. I think Sammy got fooled, and Gary thought it was going to be the shortstop's ball, and it rolled into the outfield. Here's Pellegrino. Single to right his last time up. So first and second, nobody out, 4-3 now. Pellegrino tries to cut that line. That's going to be foul. Of course, Johnny, a cut push guy, pushed the ball into right field his last time up. I always laugh. A guy hits a beautiful ball in one direction. Then he comes up the next time and tries something else, and that's off of Israel. A little confusion. We're tied at 4. Bradle gets into third. So Israel deflected that ball. It did go directly to second, but Bertucci was chasing it, and then he changed directions and kind of got into Gary at the short center, and the ball bounced into the outfield. Runners on the corner, nobody out for Scotty Toothpick. 4-4 ball game. In the fourth, we got a little symmetry brewing. And this is a golden opportunity here for the Takers to maybe really put a crooked number up. Little ground ball, and Sammy, a little bobble, long throw. Out at first, and we may have a little bit of a injury here. He stumbled over the bag running. And another run does score on the play. They get the out at first. I think Sammy rushed just a bit. And I think Scotty a little shook up. And Scotty seems to be saying hit the bag funny. He thinks he might have hurt either a quad. I don't know if it's a quad or a hamstring. He's kind of jogging. Now he says he's okay. Ellerby hits it down the line. Nice play by Chris. Winslow tags. He's going to be out at third. Chris Plywich with a fantastic play. Sliding catch, came up throwing, and he throws out Winslow at third in the So, a little bit of a base running error there. Takers have had a couple. I think it's 5-4 here. I think it's 5-4. Is that what you got, Frank? So 5-4. You got 3. No, you had 2. They always question Gio, don't they? So, unusual double play to end the inning there. And leading off, it's Raff, a little ground ball to Matea, long throw in time for out number 1. So new game here in the bottom of the fourth. The new leader, Takers. And I tell you, they've had 2 base running mistakes that have cost them 1 run for sure. and it prevented Sinise from getting a chance to potentially drive in a 2-out run there because of the double play. So here's Lawler. 1 out, nobody on. Chris Plywich, he had a great play to end the top half on deck. And Shane just pokes it. Pellegrino, not in time. So again, Shane, as is his wont, tried to go opposite where the short center was. Pellegrino had a range to his right. He did get there, but couldn't get anything on the throw. So 1 out, 1 on now, and here's Chris. Gary Paulson on deck. And Chris goes hard to the alley, and Bradle can't make the catch. Nicky got a decent read. He'll make it. They throw behind. Everybody's safe. So Nicky got a good read, got the third. Throw was off target by the right fielder. Got cut off. They tried to throw behind, but Chris snuck in under. And now with 1 out, got second and third here. And there's a ground ball. Sinise looks him back, throws to first. Good job by Mike Sinise there. He gloved it. Looked Nicky back a couple of times, made sure he was moving back to third, and then made a good firm throw to first. So now with 2 outs, it's up to Chicken. Single just over the top of the infield his last time up. And I think at this point in Chicken's career, he was always an over-the-top guy, but, you know, and that's going to be the 3rd out. Winslow handled it, big Sunday hop. I was going to say, at this point in his career, you're almost better off throwing him a little heavier and making Chicken have to elevate the ball on his own instead of throwing it in the air where it's already up there for him. So we head to the top of the 5th, 5-4, takers. Again, this is the men's 50 and over division up here in the Rosemont League. This league is run by Tommy Lentine, Sr., and through Frank Jekyll. And Frank doing a good job putting the 16-inch division together as well. Colton Rosemont is a north, and there's a swing and a base hit. It's a northwestern suburb, and Sinise is going to cruise into 3rd. And Mike Sinise is a tough out. And if you're the takers, you would have liked to have seen him hit last inning, but the base runner mistake didn't give him the opportunity. Here's Marty Dozen now, nobody out, runner on 3rd. So it's a northwest suburb of the city of Chicago. It's right off of 294 and the Belmont exit. So beautiful suburb out here, and Matty drives it. That'll be deep enough to score the run. And they take a 6-4 lead. That's a good job by Matty to make sure they got the run in. But I think if you talk to Pat Caputo, he would have preferred for Matty to try to get a hit there with Angelo Alicia. Thank you, Colton. And there's a little ground ball. Nice play by Gary to stay down and make the catch. But that's a perfect example. Angelo got such good back control that what I was getting at is Pat Caputo, the manager, probably would have preferred Matty to try to get a hit and not just dip and drive there. So here's Pete Raines. He shoots it the other way. Fair ball. She walks the dog down the left field line. Throw. Oh, and the ball came out. Chris Plywich, I tell you, he is throwing missiles. Another perfect throw. Angelo's slide right on Pete's slide was right on the ball, and it came loose because he was dead meat over there. Last time I was in South Dakota was 2001 for a Class A National Championship tournament with Danny Atkins and No Joke. We ate at here's Bradle, line drive base hit. That's going to score Raines. So Dave Bradle, his second hit, 7-4 Takers. So we were in Aberdeen. We ate at a place called The Flame. Is it still there? No, that was Aberdeen, South Dakota, I believe. It was a great place. 6 of us had steaks, appetizers, coffee, dessert, a couple of beers, and the tab was about $130. And I did pick that tab up. So there's a ground ball to end the inning. But in the inning, they push out to a 7-4 lead. And we head to the bottom of the 5th. So the Takers playing a good ball game. Playing a good ball game here. And if you're the 55s, you need to get your offense cooking a little bit. I'm going to take a quick break and grab a swig of water. Well, Matty does have a baby face. I think that's what Josephine likes about him. But Matty works out and really keeps himself in great shape. So Larry Downs going to pop up to start this bottom of the 5th. And back to the top of Ecke with Nicky Marchese on deck. Yeah, that was a good joint, man. We really enjoyed it. Good to hear 24 years later they're still out there cooking. And Ecke swings. Nice play by Pellegrino. Long throw. Marty Dozen did the best he could trying to stretch. Throw just kept tailing away from first. And an infield hit for Ecke. So 1 out, 1 on here. Brings up Nicky Marchese with Anthony Tyler on deck. And again, back in the day, Anthony had, and there's a swing, and that ball drops. Angelo went down, couldn't make the catch. Downs is going to be held at third, and it brings up Anthony Tyler. Tying run in the box with 1 out here. Sammy Bertucci on deck, so 2 guys back to back. Certainly have enough pop to get out of here. And Anthony Tyler, not only and Tyler goes for it. High drive, and he gets up into the net, and we're all tied at 7. So little sinking line drive that Angelo Alicia couldn't catch brought the tying run to the plate, and Anthony Tyler just got it high enough. Matty Dozen was at the wall. He couldn't get to it. And just like that, with the short dimensions, we're all tied. And that'll put Sammy Bertucci in the box. He already has a home run in this game. So that's 2 home runs for the 55s Takers have yet to hit one. And the 55s do have a little bit of an advantage. They got maybe a little bit more thump in their lineup than the Takers do. So 7-7 in this championship game. There is no tomorrow. Sammy steps out. And Sammy goes for it again, but this time didn't quite elevate it. And Matty, with his rear end up against the fence, reached up and plucked it. Sammy reached for a low pitch. He hit it hard, but could not quite elevate it. And with the ball being low, if you don't let go of that top hand, you're going to roll over, and that ball had a little top spin, stayed in the park. So here's Israel, and he shoots a base hit down that left field line. So we've seen a couple of lefties walk the dog. Brings up Marchese as a pinch runner. And it brings up Raff. So 2 outs here. 3 runs in. So figures to be an interesting final 2 innings. Line drive, Pellegrino can't make the catch. A little contact at second. Pellegrino was running after the ball, and Nicky kind of bear hugged him. And it brings up Shane Lawler, 2 for 2 in the contest. And Shane goes up in the air. Angelo makes the belly catch. Shane got a little bit under that ball and popped it up in the air. His first 2 times up, he made a point of guiding the ball more line drive fashion. And we head to the top of the 6th, new ball game. We're all tied at 7. So it's going to be Dave Winslow, Marty Dozen, and Johnny Pellegrino. So 7 runs for the 55s. They've got 4 of them on a 3-run homer and a solo shot. Taker's doing it the old-fashioned way, stringing together base hits. And here comes Winslow in a big spot here, leading off this 6th inning. So we'll take a couple of pictures after the game, and we'll get those up. So Winslow leads off as he guides the ball through the biggest hole on the infield there. Still the best ball in 16-inch softball, that 12 to 13-foot line drive over an infield. Brings up Marty Dozen. Again, we are live in Rosemont, Illinois. 50 and over division championship game. Glad you could join us. And Marty Dozen tried to flatten out on it, and he did. And he slaps it into center field in front of Marchese for a base hit. Dave Bradle going to come out and courtesy run. So the first 2 hitters on for Johnny Pellegrino. Scotty Toothpick on deck. Now, I have seen Scotty leave the yard. He might be one of the guys on this Taker team that's capable of going yard. Pellegrino just slapped it. Bradle avoided the ball. They get the fielder's choice. Nice job by Rath and Gary Paulson, as Dave had to wait to not get hit by the ball, and that allowed him to get the fielder's choice. Now Bradle cannot run a second time. So you cannot run twice in an inning. So Tommy Mateo will come out and run. It brings up Scotty Toothpick. There's one out. Lead run is at third. I think if you're Scotty, you need to make sure you elevate this ball. And you don't want to swing at a bad pitch, just a good natural swing. And he tops it over to Tyler, to Paulson. Double play. Second big double play turned by the 55s. And Scotty was kind of hobbling. And you see, it just wasn't much of a swing there. And again, great turn by Paulson. And we head to the bottom of the sixth, all tied. So that's a perfect example there of the Takers. They've squandered a couple opportunities. They've had two big base running mistakes that have cost them one run at least, and potentially two, and they find themselves in a dogfight. They've hit into two double plays around the horn, and they had a guy thrown out at third and a guy thrown out at second, I believe. So here's Chris Plywich. So then it'll be Gary Paulson and Joe Nixon. We are in the bottom of the sixth, a little bit of a nail biter. And Chris has got the ability to go deep, didn't quite elevate it, but he hits it, and now Angelo kicked it. Chris Plywich is going to end up on third. Lead-off triple. He hit it toward left center. Angelo had to jump up. The ball was bouncing. Got a hand on it. When he knocked it down, he ended up kicking it. Ball rolled into dead left. Manny Dozen ran behind and past Angelo on the initial hit. So I would assume that Gary Paulson may try to just turn and pull something here. Again, looking ahead to the seventh, the Takers got the bottom three hitters in their lineup. And he hits it. This isn't very deep. Here comes the throw to the plate. Petey Raines can't handle it. So Mandy Dozen got himself in a good position to throw the ball, but he short-hopped Petey Raines, as you can see on the replay, and Petey couldn't handle it. So here's Nixon. Matea not in time. I don't know if Maddie was trying to throw that ball on a fly, but it didn't get there on a fly. And when it didn't get there on a fly, it ended up being a very tough short hop. And Larry Downs whistles one foul, and that's going to roll a little bit. So that's a perfect example of Maddie's got a strong arm there, and a lot of times when you grew up playing baseball, if you were an outfielder, you had a lot of those drills where they taught you how to long hop to throw to home, and especially on this turf, the long hop throw is more effective than trying to necessarily force it on a fly. And there's a little chopper to Pellegrino. Good job by Nixon. So Pellegrino never tagged him. And to end up getting 2 outs, Nixon was doing a good job, but then he stopped running. They threw the first for the out and tagged him for number 2, and here's Ecke. And Ecke beats him in the gap. A little insurance going to score here. Downs going to cruise in as Eck delivers a 2-out. Well, maybe they didn't get the double play. No, I take it back. Larry got on after that. Either way, it's now 9-7, and here's Nicky Marchese, the runner on second. And there's a little ground ball over to Winslow, and he throws to first. Do or die, top of the 7th here for the Takers. They need 2 to continue the game, 3 to give them a lead. Anything less, and the 55s will be the champs. Again, the 55s have played a cleaner game defensively, and they have also taken advantage with the home run ball. The Takers, a couple of base running errors and a little sloppy play in the outfield has allowed the 55s to kind of take the lead. So Ellerby, Sinise, Dozen to lead off here. And this is a big hitter here. Sinise already has a hit in the ball game. And there's a ground ball back to Israel. And Mandy did hit the ball pretty good. I feel like Sinise can find his way on. And there's a little flare, and that's going to be out number 2, 1 out away. I was going to say, Mandy, I feel like if he was to pull the ball, would have enough pop to get it out of here. Now, should he do that, it would not tie the game up as the first 2 hitters. So down to the last out, Matt Dozen trying to keep it alive for Angelo Alicia and Petey Raines. And Dozen, a little soft foul ball.
With an S, not a Z. For the 96th time.
What?
It's an S, not a Z. It's not Dozen. I'm just trying to keep those with.
So here's Maddie. Marty, a little. Take it easy, Mr. Grumpy Pants. When he played for me, and Marty would get grumpy. And there's the dreaded 2-out walk. Brings up Angelo Alicia. Dave Bradle might have enough to get out of here too, but Pete Raines on deck. So a couple of good hitters coming up. And there's another ball, and of course Angelo always willing to take pitches. And that's on the plate. All of a sudden it's jumping around on Israel. And there's a timeout. So they just want to, Ecke just wanted to calm Israel down. He got that 1 strike call he complained about. And then he kind of lost home plate. And Angelo toward the gap, but Nicky Marchese's there. And the 55s win the 50 and over division championship. They came from behind to win the ball game. We'll grab some pictures. We'll get them up later. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. On behalf of Sweet Buzz and the SSA, this is Gio saying